Welcome to our live stream of high school sports. Please note that this broadcast is produced by an independent team of sports enthusiasts, and the views, opinions, and commentary expressed are solely those of the commentators and not representative of the schools, teams, or athletes featured. While we strive for accuracy, occasional errors or misstatements may occur. This stream is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Thank you for joining us and enjoy the show.
Yeah, come on, let's go. Hey, you ain't never seen nothing like this. Ain't no telling how it might get. It's the hypest right here. High school sports at its finest. So many highlights, you have to rewind it. Hey, Stream City, let me just remind you. The heart of a lion, a team full of fighters. So many stars on the field, it'll blind you. They're giving everything they got till the time's up. Yeah, legends in the making. History is made. We just getting started. You ain't seen a thing. YSN, gotta know the name. They gon' bring the flames. They gon' do their thing. Take it to another level, don't hold back. High school, got a passion and we show that. Got the drive and you know they got the heart. Number one spot for your high school sports. Let's go for the win. Hey.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to YSN Live for this Tuesday, the 4th of November. It is election day. We're so glad you elected to be part of our audience today, part of our family. DJ Yoakley, alongside the Vice President of Operations here on YSN Live. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the 8-time best-selling author, world traveler, Grammy, Emmy Award winner, Pulitzer Prize nominated. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony Ronald Hartwig.
Who literally just realized that when he made the title for today's show, went a month back in time. It is not October 4th, it is November 4th. So disregard the title of this show.
Well, call up Doc and Marty McFly because we're going back to the future.
We're going back in time.
What would you do differently last month, over the last 31 days, Anthony? What would you do differently? Because we have our chance right now.
What would I do differently?
I can't remember what I did last month.
I can't remember what I did last month. It was a slower month because we were in postseason. We didn't do a lot of games.
Who was in postseason?
Yeah, because volleyball was pretty much wrapped up by the first week of October, which is my broadcast schedule mostly.
This is why we can't put you on the spot.
No, it's not good to put me on the spot. Oh, nope, I don't got it. Thought I had it, don't have it.
What were you gonna do?
I'd go back in time about 15 minutes and tell you not to put me on the spot. That's what I do.
There it is. I'd go back 16 minutes and say, make sure that is right. That says November. Boy, oh boy, what a show we had yesterday. We got a lot of compliments from the show. People love Overreaction Monday, man. They absolutely love it. And hey, if you wouldn't mind looking in the comments, because I have it full screen right now because I've got the dual screen set up. If there's any comments, just throw them up there.
Yep, I got you.
We got a great show today. Anthony, it's a big day in Beaver Local. You had a great interview yesterday?
Yep, yesterday afternoon after school. After a big test, actually. Peyton Dunn told us in the interview that last class of the day was a big test for her, and then she came to do the interview. So, sorry we couldn't get you out of that test. But
back-to-back big test yesterday and a big test tonight awaits her. And you said she's close to or over 100 goals?
She is very close to 100 as a sophomore.
That's crazy.
97 goals on the season, so 3 away. And if she wins tonight, you got 2 games to get 3 goals. It's possible.
Okay, so let's get this out of the way because there's goals. Should goals be counted in the postseason or just yards in football or baskets in basketball? Should they be counted separately or should they be together on for records and stuff like that? Where do you stand on that?
I think they should be counted with your career stats. They're part of your career You know, it's not like you're playing separate games that don't count towards your career. I've been like, I've never been like, why do the pros stop? Like, why do your career stats don't count the postseason stuff? Because you're still playing. It still counts. It counts for even more. It just it never made sense to me. I think it should absolutely count towards your career totals when you're doing stuff in the postseason.
I think that's one of those things that pros do, because you can say, well, this person threw for this many yards in the postseason, but this many yards in the regular season, and then you add it up anyway.
Right.
Like, that's what they do now. They just add it all up. It's interesting to me because I hear people that are kind of not intimidated, but they're like, no, you shouldn't count those because not everybody makes the playoffs. And I'm like, well, that's all the more reason. That's all the more reason. And really, all teams do make the playoffs outside of football. And they were really close there. I mean, they did it in 2020, and obviously you can decline it. But, I mean, when you're adding 16 teams to the playoff picture, I know that's not everybody, but that's pretty close to everybody.
It's pretty close.
You know, we had even last week with 12, we had some teams with losing records into the playoffs. And I mean, I'm an advocate for you should not have a losing record going into the playoffs.
I think we did this year too. I think there were a couple of 12 seeds that got in with like 4 and 6, a couple of 5 and 5s. But I think
Western Reserve was one of the teams.
Western Reserve, 4 and 6, and gotten into the playoffs as an 11 seed, not even a 12 seed.
Yeah, so that's one of those things. Like I've always been. I know we're kicking around some ideas but that's what we do on this show. We just talk about sports and why it's what we like, what we don't. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that if you're this might ruffle some feathers, perhaps. But at the end of the day, if you're a loser in the regular season, there should not be a spot for you.
While we're talking about things we don't like, I was looking at these schedules for the state tournament for both volleyball and soccer, since we have someone in both.
Mm-hmm.
If Beaver Local or Hoban either win tonight, their finals are on Friday, which is football playoffs. And then volleyball semifinals are also on Friday. And I'm thinking to myself, like, HSA, when your playoffs are. Saturday's right there with nothing going on because you have no playoff games on Saturday. Why aren't we using Saturday? It doesn't make too much sense to me.
I get it from a standpoint of, like, teams that are not in the playoff. Your football team's not in the playoff. Like, that should not – your community should not be asked to split. But if they are, that should be automatic, hey, we're moving it to Saturday.
Right. Like Hoban, for example. Hoban volleyball plays Friday at 11, and their football team obviously has a big playoff game against Boardman later on that night.
11 a.m.?
11 a.m. on Friday in Wittenberg for their volleyball state semifinals.
Where the hell is Wittenberg?
I don't know. It's in Springfield, Ohio, not like our Springfield, because our Springfield technically is in New Milton.
Well, there's a lot of Springfields. You and I both know that.
Springfields
We've
are
had
everywhere.
guys at every single Springfield known to man. If it's Akron Springfield, that's not bad. I got a bad feeling it's not Akron Springfield, though.
Let's look it up.
Wittenberg. A little journalism here on the fly on YSN Live.
Maybe I got that wrong, because Wittenberg is a university.
Yeah.
Which is not in Ohio.
No, it's in Pennsylvania. Is it Otterbein?
No, it says Wittenberg Pans Evans Smith Arena in Springfield. Let's see what wittenberg.edu. So there has to be a Wittenberg High School.
Wittenberg.edu would be a college.
Maybe they are playing.
You're thinking about Heidelberg.
Wittenberg University. Maybe they're playing there. Oh, it is. It is in Ohio. It's 3.5 hours away from us. So they are playing at Wittenberg University, which is. I'm trying to see what it's close to.
3.5 hours would be like, I'm gonna guess
it's
Lima.
It's a little bit northeast of Dayton, which makes sense because the state champ. Yeah, because the state championship's in Wright State, so they're probably trying to keep it close to Wright State. That way, teams can, if they want to, can stay in the area and just kind of.
When's the championship?
The championship, if Hoban wins.
Would it be Saturday?
get this out of the bracket so I can see. The championship is Saturday at 6 at Wright State University.
Yeah, so that's got to be it.
So they're close to Dayton. That way they can probably stay down there and then play on Saturday if they win on Friday. But that's tough too because I mean, I guess you could book a hotel, but then if you lose, you have to cancel it. I don't know how you navigate that.
Yeah, that can get dicey sometimes because sometimes you don't get the
discount unless you cancel within 24 hours in most hotels.
Well, 11 o'clock gives you 24 hours.
So, like, let's say, I guess you book it for the night. No, because you book it the night of Friday. So let's say you book it for Friday night, but you can't cancel until 1 o'clock on Friday when you lose. That's less than 24 hours, right? You'd have to cancel it by Thursday night, I would assume. Is that how it would work?
Hey, guess what?
That's not our job. That's the AD's job. So
nope, that's
ADs,
tough skating.
Good luck.
Best of luck to you. Again, good luck. Actually, good luck to all of our teams. Yeah, we're rooting for you. We're certainly behind you 110%. And you look at the success that we've had this season overall, and and it's not even close to done because we're in week 12 of the playoffs and we've got 97,000 teams left in it. What do we got here?
Missouri has every football team make the playoffs.
See, that stinks. Like
that is brutal. In football,
I'm not a fan of that at all.
You don't need it. Other sports, I get it. I think football is one of those sports you can do without.
I just don't think it's a good idea.
I think Illinois is a state that's pretty close. They don't let everybody in, but they let like the top 15 teams from every region, like we used to, and they split them up into like different like conferences or whatever, different sub regions.
We were talking about this at the volleyball game the other night. How, I mean, if you are not aware of what is about to happen over the next, I feel like one of those guys that the world's going to end kind of deal. Like they pick a date. I've been saying for the last 3 years that in 1.5 years, there's going to be a conference shakeup, and it has begun. It has begun. How this shakes out, I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ways. It's fun for us to talk about putting the puzzle together, right, and how this is going to all pan out. But man, the NE8 is NE7. They've been NE7 for a few years now. With Jefferson leaving to the CVC, I think the CVC is going to be crumbling, or at least dividing up. If I had to guess, what does that do to teams like Jefferson that you sit there and you go, okay, does Jefferson come back to the NE8 and say, hey, we're back to make that whole again? Is there? I mean, we've seen the All-American Conference, how they've kind of shifted. Louisville's in there, kind of not all the way in. They're kind of the hokey pokey. Like they got the left foot in, they got the left foot, they got the left foot in, and they shake it all about. It's one of those things. Like I'm really interested in how the conferences are going to set up now. Sam Torres, he's 100% YSN, but his specialty is in Ashtabula, was talking about how he'd love to see these like community cups, so to speak. That's what I've been calling it. And it's basically your county and you play the teams in your county and that's your conference. But it gets real dicey in Mahoning County. It gets real dicey in Columbus. It gets real dicey in Stark, because you got some teams that are really small. You got some teams that are really big. Can you imagine? I mean, think about Austintown Fitch taking on Valley Christian.
Right.
Like it's just, or Louisville, because they're in the same county. There's
not enough in that regard to say county plus division.
No,
there's just not enough teams to do that. So, yeah,
I just think it's a bad look. I mean, for Ashtabula, it's almost perfect, right? It's absolutely perfect because you just have the Ashtabula County Conference thing, ACC. See, you couldn't do that either. But like for Columbiana, it might make a little bit of sense because there's no huge teams in Columbiana County.
You have to call it the ACAC, Ashtabula County Athletic Conference.
Yak.
Yak.
But I think that we're on the precipice, man. I mean, you look what Latonia did. They're jumping over to the NAC. We had Nick Zafera on here explaining it.
Yep.
There's going to be, I mean, very similar to what 2017, kind of when we started the company. It was a lot of turmoil. It was I keep doing the 6-7 thing. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands.
It's mid.
But it's one of those things, like, it's coming. Like, people know it's coming. And you talk to these commissioners and they're like, oh, no. We're rock solid. Nope. No, because usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And you've got potentially one or two teams that, and the rumor is, and we read the message boards too, they're leaving the NE8. So, pardon me. So you go from NE8 to the NE5. Now you're basically building half of your schedule without a conference.
Right.
We saw that with the SVC, with Ursuline, with Mooney, with Easton, with Cheney. A lot of people kind of, pushed off that conference anyway, because is 4 teams really a conference? I think it is. I think conferences can be made up of 2 teams if you really want to make it.
I mean,
but it's one of those. But you got to build. I don't know. It's frustrating.
The AAC isn't much more. It's 5 teams, so it's not like the AAC was doing anything too different than the SVC. You got Canfield, Boardman, Howland, Harding, and Fitch. So you have 5 teams in the AAC. Now Louisville makes 6.
I mean, we can solve this very quickly. The All-American Conference, the NE8, MVAC, EOAC, some of those teams that want to leave, let them go. Yep. I really think it's that easy. And you just make up, 2 different divisions inside the conference.
Yep.
Conferences. And guess what? You just start picking teams from the other quote unquote division or tier or whatever you want to call it. And then you go, hey, I wouldn't be mad at seeing South Range versus Boardman. And I don't think they'd be mad either. South Range versus Fitch, I'm okay with that. You look at Poland versus Fitch. I mean, everybody's afraid of the boogeyman. Like, oh, this school's bigger. You're scheduling teams that are bigger. I mean, Lake was on the schedule to open up the season for South Range.
Right.
So, like, what are we talking about here? Why not play in Austintown Fitch and have it as a non-conference conference game kind of deal?
The AAC used to look like that because it was a lot bigger. Not too long ago, it had like 3 tiers. That was like Crestview. That was the first home they found after the ITCL disbanded. They were in I believe, blue tier of the AAC. And then obviously the MVAC came about, and that kind of turned the AAC into this 16 conference it is now.
But why? I mean, why are we? Poland Canfield plays each other in everything every year. And you remember the fallout a couple years ago when they weren't going to play anymore, and then they ended up signing the deal?
Right.
Like, what's bigger than having them in your conference?
It just makes sense. And then, you could say, well, we can't have that team being our conference games. Well, like you said, okay. They're in your conference, but they're non-conference games because they're on the other tier or they're on the other side.
And I guess my thing is we've made a living, literally meal ticket out of talking about the NE8 and how strong that conference is. Excuse me, and how they're not afraid to play teams. And then we're going to sit there and be like, well, no, we don't want this team or this team or this team in our conference. Well, wait a minute. Like, we've been promoting that you're not afraid to play teams. So why are you afraid to play these teams? Because these are teams that, you share a fence with, you share a route with. Right. Louisville was talked about in the NE8 for the longest time. And now they're in the AAC. So to me, the MVAC and the EOAC, because they got a ton of smaller schools, right? A ton of those smaller schools that's a good thing. And then you have the medium to big schools in the NE8 and the All-American Conference. And you just merge that together. To me, it's just too easy. It's just too easy. And then, if you've got a couple of teams that want out of the NE8, okay, that's fine. Then almost even better, right? Because then you're whittling it down to competitive versus non-competitive. And the NAC, with all due respect, is a conference that is inviting schools that are not necessarily known for winning. And we asked Nick Safera point blank, and we said, hey, is this about winning and losing? And what did he say?
Yes, it is.
And he said that they're not going to be the only ones that do this, and we've seen other teams do this. Now, the question's going to be, from a conference standpoint, is I've heard that the NAC is not going to invite any more schools that don't have that don't have football teams, which is really interesting given the climate of that conference. Because I can name 3 teams right off the jump that don't have football teams in that conference. So what are you going to do to that? Like, is this a situation? Like, you can't have a conference the way they do, and then all of a sudden you're going to start bringing limitations and grandfathering people in that don't have that. I mean, that's a great conference in the NAC, but you're going to grow it. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that are probably sitting there twiddling their thumbs thinking, oh boy, how long do we have? And should we be looking over our shoulder? Because that's the first thing of the commandments, or whatever whatever they call it in their particular conference, is football teams have to be, and because we know football is king.
Right.
And I'm going to say this, Anthony, and I said it the other day, and I thought you'd have been very proud of me for saying this, is we have to stop looking at conferences and the makeup of conferences based on boys sports alone, because there's so many dominant girls programs in our area that just rule the roost. Crestview being number 1.
Right.
I mean, Crestview should not care at a stand. If they don't want them here, if they don't want them here, like, their girls programs could compete right now with a lot of these big schools. Right now.
Mm-hmm.
Volleyball, basketball, boy, oh boy. But we're focused on what football brings to the table.
Right. Because football makes the money, and that's just the reality. And money will drive a lot of decisions. You've
seen that picture, the same picture that I've seen, of that place jam-packed, full of black and gold, kids, families, for volleyball, for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a volleyball picture, if I'm not mistaken. You know the one I'm thinking of.
Yes, I'm seeing it.
And it's like, okay, I get it, but if you're putting that together every single night, and they already have a situation where it's, hey, kids aren't paying to come to games. If you're a student of Crestview, you're coming. I can see the little corner of it. That's all I can see.
YSN Rocks from Scott Rescar.
Yeah, it's had to be Ressi. But I mean, I don't know. It's crazy to me to think about the conferences are going to shake up. You saw it coming, but it's still like, okay, now what are you going to do?
It's like a cycle. If you know anything about the history of sports in the area, conferences have been they have a short lifespan in the big picture of things.
But why? Help me out here. I mean, whether it's you or the commenter, like, why is it that in an area so jam-packed full of tradition, in an area that loves tradition more than any other in the country, I would argue, why do we want to get away from tradition so much? Because we're losing. Nah, I don't want to play them any. I mean, you've got a trophy that bears the name of 2 schools, and we're going to say we're out because we lost too much.
Kennedy's in a boat where people don't want to play them anymore in a conference, and this comment saying that, wish they go back to the way it used to be. There's a lot of schools that wish they could go back to the way things used to be, where they had a, very stable conference home with a very competitive conference that people wanted to play them. And there's a lot of schools like JFK that don't have, JFK and other sports are in the PTC. But in football, they're just kind of, hey, go do what you want. And it's worked out in their favor in the playoffs, at least.
I think it stinks. I mean, across the board, I think it stinks. When you don't have a conference, when you don't have a home, it's bad. It's a bad look. And, people get so angry, so frustrated about, well, we're not going to play them if they keep beating us.
That's how conferences die.
What the hell kind of mentality is that in sports, Anthony? Like,
that's how the ITCL died. Let's call it what it is. There were 2 teams in ITCL that nobody could beat in almost any sport. And they just said boot them, and then they couldn't survive without them, and it disbanded.
But isn't that the crazy thing? Because that was right before the Springfield run.
Right.
Right before it. Crestview has been struggling for the last 7-8 years to get back to where they are, and now they're 10-0, heading to the second round of the playoffs with a home game. And the argument is what? It's what? I don't get it. And people are going to point to open enrollment and say, this is the major problem. This is what kills No, they were killing conferences before this.
No, I want to have that argument because before open enrollment, everyone cried about the fact that it was unfair that private schools were the only ones that could get people from anyone. But now anyone can get anybody from anybody if you're an open enrollment school. So that playing field has been leveled, and it says something new to complain about. Now you don't want that anymore. Now it's open enrollment has killed everything. Well, wait a minute. You can't have it both ways of the track here, guys.
Well, and that's the problem. Is it's like baseball where you can argue statistics all day long, and there's facts to support you no matter which way you go, right? So it's who can make the best argument. But what stinks is people don't want to open the closet door and see the boogeyman, which is, guess what? If you stink, get better. If you're a quote unquote victim of open enrollment, make your school better, make it more attractive. If you're a victim of we haven't beaten this team in 10 years, get better. Maybe it's because you're not putting the time or effort in. Maybe it's because you spend too much time looking around and you don't spend any time looking within. Look in the mirror. How do you get better from that? That's the tough thing, because these conferences, they'll all sit around a table and they'll go, yep. We don't want to do that. And then privately, they all go their separate ways and they're like, oh, they don't want to do that. This team doesn't want to. No, man. Like I get the point of being a unit, so to speak, and having those table discussions. But I will tell you, very few people are willing to rattle the cage. Mm-hmm. Very few people are willing to rattle the. Very few people, even fewer people, are willing to have this conversation, which you and I have so often, to the point where it's nauseating to some people, and they're like, "All right, talk about something else." I don't think we talk about that much, but we also have been saying this entire time, Ant, that this day is coming where there's going to be a redraft. Like if you're a wrestling fan, SmackDown versus Raw redraft. And it's just going to be teams are going to go where they're going to go. What I don't want to see happen is, and I respect the hell out of Latonia and what they chose to do because that's the right move for them, or so they feel. I don't want to live in a spot where we're driving our kids an hour and a half to play a conference.
Yeah, and some schools are in that boat, and that's one of the big reasons why Jefferson left the NEA, because it wasn't an hour and a half per se, but it was close to an hour for a lot of these drives that Jefferson was making. They decided that was too much, and they said, let's not do this anymore. Let's go up to the CVC. And now, their luck, the CVC is in a unstable state now, and they're sitting there like, we can't buy a break.
6-7. 6. I just don't. That's how it goes, right? I mean, when you run away from your problems, what is that noise?
Someone's doing some work outside.
Oh, okay.
Maybe like a chainsaw. I don't know.
I thought maybe Chris Brooks was sweeping the floor again, but he just came to your house instead of athletics.
Yeah, I think he did. I think he's like, well, I can't annoy DJ anymore. I'm gonna go right outside of Anthony's room and run a leaf blower or a chainsaw. I don't know. Someone's doing something.
Hey, way to get it done. That's working hard on a Tuesday. That's what that is.
This next comment says, let's just make one big conference in the counties and split them in divisions, kind of like what you were saying earlier. One big conference that kind of divisions can be split into.
But would that be successful is my question.
How's that different than what the CVC has right now? It's one big conference. It's split into a bunch of different tiers, and it's not, doing great right now.
I think the CVC is too big because they have, isn't it like 30?
They have
teams?
I think they have close to 40 teams into like 3 different subdivisions.
Okay, so in my personal perspective and opinion, this is just an opinion, a conference should be made up of 8 teams. 8 teams. Boom. It's the perfect number, right? Because it's you and 7 other teams. Mm-hmm. If we're leaning on football, which we always do, it's you have your conference, which is weeks 4 through 10, and then you have 1, 2, and 3. You can schedule whoever you'd like. Football, I think, is the only kind of conference schedule that really, really is dependent on that kind of DNA. Everything else, like volleyball and baseball, softball, it's a lot of baseball, softball, you're starting to see back-to-backs, right? What you don't want to get into is the back-to-backs where, hey, we're driving an hour and a half this way, and, we're getting home at 11 o'clock at night on a Tuesday, and then you're going to do it on a Wednesday. Because baseball games typically aren't Fridays. They're typically a Tuesday, a Wednesday, or Thursday.
Right.
One of those. And then they keep those Fridays and Saturdays for makeups most of the time. So it's interesting. I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer is. I just know that it's coming, and everybody seems to be looking the other way. And again, it's going to sneak up on people, and they're going to be absolutely pissed. What are you looking at?
The comments.
Oh. This one stirs the bee's nest a little bit, doesn't it? Trying to make sure they're clean.
Yeah, I don't want to put anything up that shouldn't be up there, but obviously this one's just trying to solve that problem of traveling with conferences. I think you're always going to have that one team that is a little bit off geographically. Unless you literally make it county by county.
Why though? I don't understand. Like right now.
Even that, like, remember Latonia was talking. I mean, Nick Sphere was talking. There are some schools even in the EOAC that feel like they're close, but they're really like a half an hour away. But you just kind of feel like the drive is close because you drive there so many times.
But a half hour is fine. Yeah. Half hour is that's the bus ride, right? When you talk about, and we've spoken about this many, many, many times. When kids are talking about what they miss the most, in the top 3 is always going to be the bus rides with my teammates.
Right.
Always. Now, the argument is going to be, well, you got an hour and a half. Listen, if you got an hour and a half, basically you're talking about 3 hours in a bus with people that, boy, and especially
they smell.
They stink. They reek. And then you add on a Friday night, you add the band into that. You add cheerleaders into that. You add, all this into that. An hour and a half, 3 hours, hour and a half both ways, right? That's a long time. I mean, they go to school for 6.5, right? 6, 7 hours. Mm-hmm. It's not really 8 hours.
Then, you're forced to do homework and studying on the bus, which some people struggle to do. I know if I try to read stuff while the car's moving, I get that like kind of motion sickness kind of thing. I would be in trouble if I had to do all my homework and studying on a moving bus. I
don't see it happening. I mean, and we're talking about school buses. We're not talking about like the coach buses.
Yeah.
That
reclining seats and monitors right in front of
you. That's why colleges have these coach buses, because these kids have to study.
Right.
But they're also traveling from Westminster to Bethany. And 2-3 hours, and then 2-3 hours back. Where it is, the other side of this is, hey, there's no overnights usually in high school. It's you're going to, you're coming back. And that's just how it goes. So it's real interesting. Like the conferences, the shakeup is going to. It should be making a lot of people nervous because unless they do this the right way, and there is a right way to do this, there is a danger that schools that are in the YSN network are going to be traveling afar for conference games. Conference games. And if you think that wherever you are to Jefferson was far, boy, I mean, it could get dicey real quick.
And then when you think about it too, conferences that are like that, you go that far, and then you have everything is at football. You have to have JV varsity. So it's like, hey, we're going that far, but we have to make sure we're there by 5, and then middle school too.
Yep.
Or you can't do your freshman triple headers anymore. Well, one of those is thank God. Like, I think freshman triple headers are just head scratchers. Start a game at 4:30. We're gonna start JV by 5:30 for sure. No, you're not. You're not gonna get through a freshman game in an hour. Sorry. But you can't do those anymore. And where do you fit those freshman games in? You only have so much time in the week. If you want a freshman team and you can't do those triple headers, where do you fit those in? Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with that if you're traveling in a conference. I think you talked about people are going to be really upset when it happens. The way you don't do that is you get ahead of it and make decisions now. But no one wants to do that. Everyone wants to sit and wait until they have to make a decision, and then it's more stress, more anger, more frustration. If people would just get ahead of the problem a little bit and be proactive instead of reactive, I think a lot of these problems would be solved.
There it is, right there. I mean, you can take this entire conversation and cut it up in that last sentence. That's what it is. Being proactive as opposed to reactive. And I think nobody wants to make decisions unless they have to anymore, which I listen, I get it. Like there's so many decisions you have to make. I mean, you hear about the Steve Jobs thing where he wore the same thing because that's one less decision that he had to make. I don't know about all that. Like, come on, man. You can't pick out your own clothes. Like, I don't know. Anyway, it's one of those things like, why get ahead of it? Get ahead of it. And if someone lies to you or someone tells you something that's just simply not true or turns out to be not true in the long run, hey, guess what? They burnt that bridge. But I mean, we're going to start seeing it from top to bottom where, stop running away from teams because they beat you. Like, get better. Why are we doing this? Like, this is crazy. We're trying to get our kids ready for life. When life beats you down, do you just stop? Do you just, hey, you know what? I'm just not going to go to work this week because work's been tough.
Matt Zines wrote us a paragraph, but I think the gist of it is make the big part of the MVAC merge with the big part of the EOAC and vice versa.
I think it'd be great. I think literally, you could just, it's the ITCL is what it is. It just merge it back together and do it right. And there are people out there that will police this. And there has to be, the thing that I don't like is when you have a conference that is over 8 teams, you need more than one commissioner. You know what I mean? Like, This is the commissioner of this is the commissioner of this, and then they make joint decisions based on what's best for their particular group. You can't sit there and say, well, we know these are the ones that bring in money, and these guys, it is what it. No. Like, there has to be, hey, president, commissioner kind of deal, and that's the tough spot. Or you can get into, which I thought I would never. Hey, get ready. I never thought I'd say these words, Ant. Get into a situation where there's relegation inside these big conferences.
What's the All-American League? Or is he talking AAC, no All-American Conference? They don't travel that much at all if he's talking AAC. But I don't know what the All-American League is.
I don't know what the All-American League, All-American Conference. But I agree.
Those are really close together. I mean, except for Louisville coming in, but even that's not terribly far away from most of those schools.
Louisville is kind of the outlier, and I think we've talked about this at length before. And we could have Rob Johnson in, and he would tell us the same thing. Like, Louisville's the little brother that stands up to the big brother all the time. Like they've got the athleticism to hang with all of these teams in Stark County. There's no doubt. But they're also there's just more people at all these other schools.
Yeah.
And there's just no way there's only so much space in Louisville to grow. And to be able to compete with the numbers that Massillon has, it's tough. It's tough. But man, Louisville is one of the coolest towns if you've never been to it. They have that school pride that everybody let your parents talk about, kids. Louisville has it. They got Wendy's that are Wendy's are primarily the redhead, right?
Yeah.
And there's just blue all over it. There's just leopards all over it. Blah.
Like
Louisville, blah.
Like a Smurf came in and just upchucked over the whole establishment.
It didn't upchuck anything. All right. I like the Louisville blue.
It's a good blue.
It's a good blue.
It's a good blue. It's matched with I like the dark and the light blue. It's the same color, different hues. I like
Look at you backtracking. You hitting reverse on the wheels right now because
hey, there's nothing bad about Smurfs.
Smurf upchuck. I don't think I've ever been. Hey, I am Tickle Pink that you just compared me to upchuck.
Well, true. I didn't mean it in a bad.
You're
way.
a derogatory person, Anthony.
I'm
you're
terrible.
Toxic.
I should have turned this backwards before I said it.
Yeah, Ronnie. That's something Ronnie would say. Let's get to our interview because you interviewed Peyton Dunn yesterday, and she's got a whale of a opportunity here tonight to send the Lady Beavers on to the state championship. So would you like to do a little intro for that?
Yeah, Peyton Dunn, the sophomore captain, voted captain by her team as a sophomore. If that shows you what kind of respect that the team and the players have for her, I don't know what else would. And also very close to 100 goals in her career already, just 2 years in, sitting at 97 right now. So 3 goals away with a possible 2 games left in the state semifinals tonight in Coshocton High School at 7 o'clock. So here is Beaver Local standout sophomore Peyton Dunn. Anthony Hartwig here with a Beaver Local girls soccer player profile. We're joined by Peyton Dunn and Beaver Local, they're flying high right now on to the state semifinals, and Peyton is one of the big reasons why, as she has had a phenomenal season and a phenomenal young career so far. Peyton, let's talk about this season. What's it mean to you to have the success that this team is having right now?
It's really exciting because as a team, we've worked really hard all season to get where we are now, and it's made the season a lot of fun.
You're doing something that this school has never done. You're going to state. What's it mean to you to kind of be the hallmark of the school community right now and to be doing something that no one in Beaver Local has ever done?
It just feels amazing to be where we are.
Obviously, there was some kind of thing this season that kind of turned the tide. 18-2 is, I believe, I think 19 actually after the win. So what's the difference maker this year? What do you think is that unique thing about this team that is letting them win so much?
I think just our connections as a team to all get along and mesh with one another. Also, everyone has worked hard in the off season to prepare and get ready for this season.
Obviously, everyone's talking about your offense, and you've had such a great offensive season, of course, you and the team. But the defense in this regional final, not allowing a goal, it was a 1-0. You had to get that shutout to get the win. What's the defense of this team like, and what's the backbone of the Beaver Local defense?
Well, to start off, our goalie has worked really hard to get where she is. Our defense part, they just connect really well, and they can all look to one another. If they make a mistake, they have the next player beside them who can make up for that mistake, and they all know what the other is trying to do and wanting to do, so they can connect really well back there as a team.
Yeah, you can't beat a team you can't score on, and that's why the defense is going to be so important. But we also have to talk about your offense. Obviously, everyone knows the goals that you've been able to score, and you're close to 100 on your career already, and you're just 2 years in. What's been working so well for you?
Well, We're able to move really well in the midfield to connect our passes and that find the opening gap and relax to be able to not rush and find the opening gap or shot from any one of our players.
Obviously, you've worked so hard to get to where you're at on the soccer field. Talk about some of the things that kind of drive you and keep you motivated to work hard each and every day as a player.
One of my driving factors is my dad. He's there to push me to keep going and work hard outside of practices and just wanting to live up to his career in high school and college.
I think you're doing it. I'm not going to presume to know everything that he's done in his career. He's probably did a lot of good things, but I think you're living up to it pretty well. When you talk about this sport that you love so much, obviously soccer is kind of something that you have to love to work as hard as you do at it. What do you love so much about soccer? What kind of things that keep you coming back to this sport?
I just really like how you could really do anything. Like, it's very creative sport. You don't have set plays and you could do whatever you want on the field, basically.
You're doing whatever you want, that's for sure. When you talk about, the goals that you set for yourself this season, especially, I mean, we're close to, no matter what, you have 2 games left, even if you win all. What were some goals that you set for yourself personally that you wanted to achieve for yourself and wanted to kind of make sure that you did to make this team as good as it could be?
I wanted to keep the team going when we're down. If we get down in a game, I wanted to lift others up. Like, as a captain, I'm able to keep the team going, stay motivated. That's one of the things I wanted to work on. Yeah.
And that's a lot to ask from someone that, you're not a senior, you're a younger player on the team, but you're still asked to be a leader. What's that been like, trying to navigate? There are still people to look up to, and there are still a lot of great seniors on this team and a lot of great upperclassmen, but you have to be a leader as well as one of the younger players.
What do you mean?
So what's it been like to lead this team as one of the younger players on the team?
Oh, it's nice to be able to, for them to see me to come back. Like, they voted me early as a captain, and I'm able to come back for them since I'm not an upperclassman and learn from previous years.
That captain band is voting on. What's it mean to you to be able to wear that and to be able to know that your team voted you into that spot and they have the respect for you to put you there?
It's pretty exciting because not a lot of people get to be a captain until they're seniors, and to be able to wear the captain band every game means that I'm able to keep the team motivated, basically.
If you're being honest with yourself, is there any pressure that comes with that captain band? Do you kind of feel the weight of that when you put it on every night?
Sometimes I do, like in big games, to wear that. It does put on some pressure, but just relax.
All right, I want to talk to you about this regional championship a little bit more and winning it and the celebration after. What was it like to have that moment with your team and take us through kind of what this next week kind of feels like and how fast it's been moving and what it's been like to kind of celebrate all these moments with your team?
These past couple of days have been moving very quick, but it's also really exciting because these memories are what's going to be one to remember. And it's nice getting this far with this kind of team.
Absolutely. And I know you couldn't do it without a coaching staff that is there for you. So talk about your coaching staff, what they've done for you as a player and what they've done for you as a person as well.
Whenever I get down on myself in a game, my coaches are there to help keep me motivated as well. They are fun to have as coaches because they're kind of like friends to all of us. We're able to talk to them whenever we need to about anything, and it's really nice having them.
Who are some of your role models? Who are the people that you look to in life for advice and guidance and inspiration?
My dad, again, is definitely one of my role models because he has that mindset that I want of trying to lead the team in big games like that. And he pushes me and supports me with everything. And he's definitely one of my biggest role models.
Do you have like one piece of advice that sticks out to you that he's given you throughout your lifetime that really you think holds true now that you're, doing what you're doing?
I don't know.
Is there something he always tells you? Is there something that he's always saying to you, like, hey, keep it up, or hey, you need to do this better? Is there something that he's always trying to coach you in?
Sometimes when I'm getting down on myself, he just tells me to like stay positive, even if I'm mad at myself, like just keep working hard.
How much of a smile did he have on his face when you won a regional championship? That must have been a huge moment for your dad, right? A big part of your career. What was it like seeing his reaction to it?
It was pretty cool because he's always so hard on me, but it's just making me a better person and player. And just to see him with a big smile on his face after the game was pretty cool.
So to get to know you a little bit off the field too, obviously you're a student athlete at Beaver Local. What are some of the things that you like studying and some of the things that you like learning about in school?
I really like math and science. Reading isn't my favorite, but just biology's been fun. Algebra's been fun. Just those. How
much easier has school been during this big tournament run? I mean, obviously it gets a little bit, getting through the school day gets a little bit easier when you know that you have big games coming up, right?
Yeah.
Or is it the opposite? Do you think that school goes slower when you're anticipating a game?
I think that school gets harder because I'm trying to focus on the game, and we have a big test, and it's like, wait, I have to focus on that first. But after that, after I get over the test, then I focus on the game, and it's fun.
What's been your hardest test so far this year?
Definitely the one I just took today.
Hey, let's go. Get out of a test and come into an interview. That's great. Sorry we couldn't get out of that class. We try. When you think about all the things that you've already done at Beaver Local, you've already done so much, but you still have so much to do. What are some things you'd like to do before you graduate?
My goal for next year, well, actually this year, first, go to state finals. And then next year, I want to break my dad's record. He holds the career records for 111 goals. And I think I definitely have a chance of getting that.
You have a chance of getting to 100 before the year's over if you get enough games in you. If you had 2 more games and if you have one of those hot streaks like we've seen you have in the past, who knows? When you think about the seniors on this team, we've talked about the seniors that you already do have. How much have they taught you about leadership, and how much are you going to carry on next year, what the seniors on this team have taught you?
The seniors this year have helped me relax in big moments if I get upset. And they really do help because they've been there for 4 years. They know what it's like when they get upset, and they've helped me with that too, on and off the field.
Obviously, for them, this is their last chance. This is their last window. What would it mean to you to get a state championship for these seniors?
It'd be amazing because one of our seniors, obviously, our starting defender, she broke her collarbone, and it'd be great if we could get the state win just for her because it's her last year and she's unable to play.
All right, Peyton, we end these player profiles the same way every time, no matter who we're interviewing. I want to give you the chance to kind of take the limelight off yourself for a minute and shine on the people in your life. I know you talked about your dad a lot, but I'm sure there's a lot of other people in your life that kind of help you, support you, and deserve some thank yous, some flowers, some shout outs. So I want to give you the time as much as you want to kind of give out shout outs and thank yous to the people in your life that you know deserve it.
I want to thank my mom too. She helps me with school and getting to practices, whether it's high school or club. I want to thank my brother for practicing with me in the rain outside or 90-degree weather. I want to also thank my club coaches, SVA and Beadling. They both pushed me to work harder every day in practice and to get where I am now.
All right, Peyton, we want to thank you so much for coming on, talking to us. Congratulations on the regional championship. We wish you the best of luck when it comes to state semifinals. We'll be watching. We'll be there to cover you as much as we possibly can. And we thank you for coming on. We look forward to talking again real soon.
Thank you.
It is the Joe Dickey Electric What's Your Spark presented by Joe Dickey Electric. They are everything electrical, and they are available to you 24/7, 365, just like YSN. All you have to do is go to DickeyElectric.com. Ronnie, spin it for me.
My spark today, let's see, it goes out to the teams that are playing in state semifinals today. Want to give them a shout out. Make sure they get some love because no one else in the area, I feel like, has really given them anything. I feel like there's not a lot of, if you're not football, you're not getting a whole lot of attention right now. So Beaver local girls soccer state semifinals tonight at 7. Also Hoban girls soccer also at 7 o'clock tonight in the state semifinals. Let's go get some trips into the state championship. Let's get 2 teams into the state championships tonight. So good luck to both of you guys, and we hope that we get 2 wins to talk about tomorrow.
Certainly good luck to those teams. As always, we are not just a football network. We are a sports network, and certainly we're proud of those teams competing. And, hey, we love you. Go get it. Bring it home. Bring home the hardware. That's how it goes. And then nobody can ever say anything to you ever again about how hard you work or the lack of how, the discipline that you had along the way. The only way to shut those people up, to make those people go, shh, is to do what, Anthony?
Is to win, baby. Just win, baby.
Just win, baby. Put that trophy right there. Take some nice pictures with it. My spark is going to go out to just the people that are in I saw a thing last night. We live in a world that is just bad news, right? And,
right.
It's all driven by politics and da-da-da-da-da. But I was watching, just flipping through reels, and there was a comedy show, and maybe you've seen this, maybe you haven't. There was a comedy show. The guy was on, and he was killing it. And literally he goes, oh no, is everybody all right? And somebody fell in the crowd, fell ill and didn't have a pulse. And the people within that crowd worked together to bring this man back to life till the paramedics got there and then shipped him out. And the comedian broke down on stage after and said, well, now I've got the hardest job in America after all of that to make you guys laugh, but started tearing up and crying. So often, people get criticized for what they do or don't do. And what the biggest thing that I can tell you is we still live in a great country full of people who love people, and everything's based on love. And I'm not going to sit here and say, peace to all, because in order to have peace, you have to go through war. But I will tell you this, is we have a great country full of great people that mean and will do the right thing more oftentimes than not. And, first responders, I've been a dispatcher. I've never been on the police side of things from a standpoint of serving or our military, but I've been around a lot of great people who have served, a lot of great people that have been paramedics, our firefighters, our police, medics, all that stuff. And what I'm going to tell you is there is not a time that we will ever not support our first responders here at our network. We are so very fortunate because when we are running away from fires and danger and people that, scary situations, those people are trained and they are brave and courageous and run into it. So I want to say thank you overall to our first responders who continue to protect our country, no matter what it looks like and no matter who is running it, and which is the big thing, because no matter what happens, no matter how divided you think this world is, how divided you think our country is, we are still the United States of America, and we absolutely love being the red, the white, and the blue here on this particular piece of God's green earth that we've been provided and blessed to have. So that is my rant. That is my spark, and we will do better tomorrow. I can promise you that. On behalf of Anthony Ronald Hartwig. We want to say thank you to Peyton Dunn and best wishes to all the teams in action tonight, including those Beaver local Lady Beavers. And certainly we want you to bring it home and, hey, let us know. Let us know because we want to shine even more light on those great players, those great student athletes and coaches and communities. As we always say, we will be better tomorrow. I promise we will because it's a Wednesday, Anthony, because that means it is
Hump Day.
Hump Day. And we will be back with even more news and interviews tomorrow right here on Your Sports Network. And Anthony, as we always end with, may the sports – oh, my God, where's my mouse? I have no idea. There's the mouse. May the sports be with you, my friend. YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.